All right, so we're going to finish up chapter 3 today. So we're going to start with lesson 5. So in lesson 5, all we are doing is using long division, okay? So lesson 5, we're going to use remainders, whereas we're not going to talk about decimals, and we're not going to talk about doing all that. So we're just going to have a remainder in this round because I'm more worried about you guys doing long division. I want you guys to get back in the habit of doing long division on paper and not using a calculator. So when one number is divided by a number, the result is called a quotient. We talked about that the other day. The dividend is the number that is being divided. The divisor is the one that is used to divide the other number. So if I had 592 divided by 30, okay, so 592 divided by 30. The dividend is the one being divided. That goes on the inside. So 592 divided by, okay, so that one goes on the inside. 30 is our dividend, and that's the one we are dividing by, okay, so that goes on the outside. All right, so then I just start dividing. 30 doesn't go into 5, so I just go down the line. Well, it goes into 59 once, okay, so then I subtract, I get 19 left over. Well, that doesn't work, so I got to bring the 2 down now. Well, 30 goes into this. Let's see, let's take a guess. 30 times 6. Okay, so 30 times 6 would be 180. So that's the closest we're going to get. Okay, so 6 it is. 6 times 30 would be 180. So then we subtract, we get left with 12. Okay, so like I was saying, since we have this left over, we're done. You get 16 and a remainder of 12. All right, so that's how that works. All right, let's do one more. So 554 divided by 23. Well, I write this out. Okay, so the dividend goes on the inside. That's the one being divided. And the divisor, the one that's dividing by, goes on the outside. Now I just divide it out. Well, 23 doesn't go into 5, but it does go into 55 2 times. That would be 46. So we subtract, and I get 9. Bring down my 4. Well, 23 goes into 94 4 times, and that would be 92. Well, we get 2 left over. So my answer would be 24 with a remainder of 2. Now, if you get 0 here and you have no numbers left over, that just means you don't have a remainder. So you just put your quotient up here. So whatever that is, if you have a 0 down there. So what I want you guys to do now is I want you guys to do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 3 through 8. Okay, so then pause the video, come back, and then we'll go through these together. So I need you to pause the video and then come back. All right, now that you are back, let's go ahead and let's go through these. I already did number 3 for you. All right, whatever. So number 3 is already done. So we already did number 3 for you, so you always don't have to do number 3. Okay, number 4. 925 divided by 58. Okay, so when I set this up, the 925 goes on the inside, and then divided by 58 on the outside. Okay, so it doesn't go into 9, it does go into 92 one time. So we subtract, and we got to borrow first, and we get 4, and then so 34 altogether. That doesn't work, so I got to bring my 5 down. Well, 58 goes into 345 5 times, and that's 290. So you get left with 55. So another trick to notice during this is if this number down here, your remainder, is smaller than that, you're fine. You know you're good, and you did your math correctly. Now, if this number is larger than this number, the one that you're dividing by, your remainder is bigger than that, then you've done something wrong, and it's just another way to double check yourself. Okay, so our answer would be 15 with a remainder of 55. Okay, and then the next one, 1,894 divided by 62. So I set it up. All right, well, 62 doesn't go into 1, doesn't go into 18. It does go into 189 3 times. So that'd be 186. So I subtract and get 3, bring my 4 down. Well, 62 doesn't go into 34, so I still have to put my 0 there. and my remainder would be 34. So I get 30 with the remainder of 34. The reason I have to put that 0 there is because 3 times 62 will not equal 1,894. It doesn't make sense. 30 times 62 does. So you got to make sure the number makes sense too. All right, so then the next one, 1,089 divided by 59. Okay, I set it up. Doesn't go into 1, doesn't go into 10, but it does go into 108 one time. Okay, so I subtract and I get 49. So I bring down my other 9 because that didn't work. And it goes into it 8 times, which is 472. Once I subtract, I get 27. So my answer is 18 with a remainder of 27. All right. So the other one, we get 3,604 divided by 85. I'm just going to go ahead and write the answer out for this one because it's basically the same as the others. So we get 42 with a remainder of 34. And then the last one, number 8, 379 divided by 74. That would be 5 with a remainder of 9. Okay? So that's how you do long division and have remainders. All right, so that's lesson 5. Now we're going to go to lesson 7. So lesson 7 is when we start introducing the decimals. All right, so lesson 7, if I can find it, looks like this. Okay, so you're still just doing long division. Nothing changed with that. So all we're doing now is we threw a decimal at you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do an example number 1. And example number 1 looks like this. So 8 and 73/100 divided by 9. Now, remember I said that one that's listed first, that's the one being divided. That goes down here in the inside. Okay, 9 goes on the outside. Now, this decimal here doesn't change anything with the division process. It just changes your answer. So what I like to do before I even divide it out is take that decimal and take it straight up from where it's at and put it in my answer. That way I don't forget. Because if you forget your decimal, it's going to be wrong. So now I just divide. The decimal plays nothing else other than that. So 9 doesn't go into 8, but it does go into 87. Well, that'd be 9 times. That's 81. So we subtract, we get 6. So I have to bring down my 3. 9 goes into 63 7 times. Subtract. No more remainders. We're done with the remainders. As soon as the decimals show up, no more remainders. So your answer is 97/100. And you can put the 0 in front of the decimal if you want. You don't have to. Totally up to you guys. All right. Another example of this would be 8 and 58/100 divided by 12. So you notice the goal over here was to get 0, so because we don't want any more remainders. So we're still dividing. So 8 and 58/100 divided by 12. So like I said, before I divide, I like to just take my decimal up to the top. That way I don't forget it in my answer. All right, well, 12 doesn't go into 8, but it does go into 85 7 times. Well, that's 84. So I get 1. Well, I have to bring down the 8. 12 goes into 18 1 time. Okay, here's my problem. I'm out of numbers up top, and I don't have a 0 down here. I have a remainder, but we don't have remainders when we have decimals. So what you have to do is annex a 0 and bring it down. So you can annex as many zeros as you need until you can finish. Well, 12 goes into 60 5 times. So now we have a 0 down here. We are done. We have no more numbers to work with. So our answer is 715 thousandths. Okay, so that is how you do long division with decimals. It didn't change any of the division process. It just changed our answer. And now we don't have a remainder anymore. Okay, so I want you guys to go ahead and pause the video, and I want you guys to work on 2, 3, 6, 7, 10, 11. Don't worry about these. I just want you to do those 6. Okay, so you're going to do those 6 and then come back and we're going to talk about all 6 of them. Okay, so that is what you need to do now. So pause the video, come back. All right, now that you're back, let's go ahead and finish these out. So number 2, we have 4.5 divided by 5. Okay, so I set this up. I get 4.5 on the inside, 5 on the outside. So I take my decimal straight up to my answer. Well, 5 doesn't go into 4, but it does go into 45 9 times. Well, that's 45. We subtract, we get 0. So our answer is 9/10, 0.9. Okay, the next one is 8 6/10 divided by 2. So 8 6/10 goes on the inside, 2 on the outside. Decimal goes straight up to my answer. 2 goes into 8 4 times. So I subtract a 0, bring down my 6. Well, 2 goes into 6 3 times. So still have a 0, so my answer is 4 3/10. All right, the next one, 7 2/10 divided by 3. So I set it up. Okay, decimal goes straight up to my answer. 3 does go into 7 2 times. That's 6, so we subtract, we get 1. Bring my 2 down. 3 goes into 12 4 times. So I have nothing left over, so my answer is 2 4/10, 2.4. And the next one, 7.5 divided by 5. So I set my division up. Decimal goes straight up to my answer. Okay, so 5 goes into 7 1 time. I get 2. Bring down my 5. Well, 5 goes into 25 5 times. No remainders, nothing. We're done. 1.5. All right, the last two. 1 9/100 divided by 2. So I set this up. My decimal goes straight to my answer. Well, 2 doesn't go into 1, but it does go into 10 5 times. So I subtract, get 0, bring my 9 down. Well, 2 goes into 9 8 times. Okay, I don't have a 0 here, and I'm out of numbers, so I have to annex a 0 and bring it down. Well, 2 goes into 10 5 times. So you get 585 thousandths. And the last one, 7 6/10 divided by 8. So I set it up, take my decimal up. Well, 8 doesn't go into 7, but it does go into 76 9 times. So that'd be 72. We get 4. Okay, we don't have, once again, we want a 0 there, so I have to annex a 0. Well, 8 goes into 45 times. So you get 95 hundredths. So that is lesson 7. So that's dividing decimals by whole number.
Mr.